Shalom family. In this video we're going to address the misconception that's been floating around for the last few years about the origin of the name of the central continent called Africa. In some circles it's been purported that the central continent known as Africa was named after the Roman Leo Scipio Africanus. And it's been said that if you refer to yourself as an African, you are calling yourself by the surname of a European. However, we're going to see that this idea is not true. Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus was a Roman general and later consul who is often regarded as one of the greatest military commanders and strategists of all time. His main achievements were during the Second Punic War. He is best known for defeating Hannibal at the final battle of Zama near modern Zama, Tunisia in 202 BC. The victory was one of the feats that earned him the agnomen Africanus. So this Roman general was given the name Africanus. That was not his family name. It was not his given name. So we're going to look at what agnomen actually means. An agnomen in the Roman naming convention was a nickname, just as the cognomen was initially. However, the cognomina eventually became family names, so agnomina were needed to distinguish between similarly named persons. However, as the agnomen was an additional and optional component in a Roman name, not all Romans had an agnomen. At least not one that is recorded. So we see that Roman general was given the agnomen or nickname Africanus. This was not his given name or his family name. Now the agnomen come from outside and in three styles: from personality or physique or achievements. From personality, such as superbus, haughty, and pious, displaying the Roman syndrome of virtues including honesty, reverence to the gods, devotion to family and state, etc. From physique, such as crassus, fatty, and pulcher, handsome. Or from achievements, such as Africanus and Criticus, from their victories in Africa and on Crete. Africanus, Criticus, and the likes are also known as victory titles. For example, Gaius Marcius Coriolanus earned his from the capture of Corioli. So we see here that the name that was given to the general who is later called Africanus was given to him as a victory title. So in other words, the central continent known as Africa was not named after the general Africanus. Africanus was named after the land. So we see here that the title Africanus was given to the Roman general because of his victory in Africa. So the central continent known as Africa was not named after a European man. We're going to look at how the Hebrew historian Josephus described how the land known as Africa got its name. And we're going to look at his Antiquity of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 6. Grecian historiographers mention that river and the adjoining country by the appellation of Foot, but the name it has now has been by change given it from one of the sons of Mizraim, who was called Libyos. We will inform you presently what has been the occasion why it has been called Africa also. So, the historian Josephus is writing and describing how the northern part of the central continent became known as Africa. And we understand that Josephus was writing down the history of the Israelites for the Romans. He was captured by the Romans, and he was working with the Romans in writing down history books containing the life and culture of the Israelites. So if Africa had been named after a Roman soldier, why would Josephus now be telling the Romans where the name Africa came from? Chapter 15. Abraham after this married Keturah, by whom 6 sons were born to him, men of courage and of sagacious minds, Zabran, and Jazar, and Madan, and Madian, and Josabak, and Sos. Now the sons of Sos were Zapathan and Dadan. The sons of Dadan were Latusim, and Asur, and Lod. The sons of Madiau were Ephes and Ophran, and Anok, and Abidis, and Eldis. So we're going to look at this particular grandson of Abraham, who was named Epher. And here, of course, translated into the Latin language, comes out to be Ophran. Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter 25. Then again Abram took a wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Yokshan begat Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, and Letushim, and Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah, and Epher, and Hanak, and Abidah, and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. So we see here in Bereshit, again the grandson of Abraham, Epher, which Josephus writes to the Romans in Latin as Ophran. Back to the Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 15. It is related of this Ophran, remember his name is Epher, that he made war against Libya and took it, and that his grandchildren, when they inhabited it, called it from his name Africa. So we see that the name Africa comes from Epher. And indeed, Alexander Polyhistor gives his attestation to what I here say, who speaks thus: Cleodemus the prophet, who was also called Malchus, who wrote a history of the Jews, in agreement with the history of Moses, their legislator, relates that there were many sons born to Abraham by Keturah. Nay, he names 3 of them, Epher, and Surim, and Jephron. That from Surim was the land of Assyria denominated, and that from the other 2, Epher and Jephron, the country of Africa, took its name. So here Josephus actually quotes another historian to give support to his claim that the country of Africa, remember it was only the northern part of the central continent that was initially called Africa, got its name from the grandson of Abraham. Epher. Epher, coming from the Hebrew, can mean calf or gazelle. And we're going to look further into the root of the word to see where the meaning of the word Epher comes from. Deer, fawn, stag, young hart. From the dusty color. So when we look at the picture of this herd of gazelles, we can see why they were called Epher, because of their color. They're the color of dust. You have the brown ruddy color. So we go further into the root of the meaning of afar, means dust or powder. Going furthermore, dry earth, dust, powder, ashes, earth, ground. So this is the origin of the word afar, the Hebrew meaning referring to dust, the earth. So let's see how this word is actually used in the Tanakh. Bereshit or Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. And Yahuwah Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So the word there that's translated into English as dust is the Hebrew Epher. Bereshit chapter 13. And Yahuwah said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now your eyes, and look from the place where you are northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, to you will I give it, and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall your seed also be numbered. So again, this word that is translated in English as dust comes from the Hebrew word Epher. So we're going to look at the entry from the encyclopedia. Africa, etymology. Ephri was a Latin name used to refer to the inhabitants of then known northern Africa to the west of the Nile River, and in its widest sense referred to all land south of the Mediterranean, ancient Libya. This name seems to have originally referred to a native Libyan tribe, an ancestor of modern Berbers. The name had usually been connected with the Phoenician word afar, meaning dust. So again, this is an agreement with the record of the historian Josephus. So the land of northern Africa, the central continent, that was conquered by the grandson of Abraham, called Epher. He conquered the Libyans, and then his descendants called the land after his name. So eventually, as people traveled deeper into the central continent, from north to south, eventually the entire continent became known as Africa. So now we have understanding that the continent of Africa was not named after a European general. It was in fact named after the descendant of Abraham, and it is in fact a Hebrew word meaning dust. So if I call myself an African, I'm not calling myself after the name of a European general. When I call myself or refer to myself as an African, I understand, just like the prophecy that Yahuwah spoke to our father Abram, he said that your children shall be like the dust of the earth. And that word dust is Afar. And again, the land that was allotted to the Israelites is in fact on the African tectonic plate. We understand that the term Middle East is a misnomer. The land of Israel is in fact Northeast Africa. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please click the like button and subscribe and be notified of future videos. Shalom, family.